What's going on, guys? This is Chunji Akuma, and today I just want to show you a few easy smokes you can do on Dust 2, whether it's going to be on CT side or T side. So here we go with the first smoke. This smoke is going to smoke off of this area right here where snipers generally lay. This is probably the easiest and most used one, for me at least, on the T side. So what you're going to do is simply walk up here, get behind this box as close as you can, don't crouch or anything, pull back, put this pretty much in between here and this one right here, just like this, and release. And what this is going to do is it's going to fly all the way over, bounce, and it's going to pop. So when you come through these doors, you won't have to worry about this opera right here. Now they might try to shoot through the smoke, but I wouldn't worry about it too much, so now you can check all your areas here. Alright, now that you've actually cleared the entire area and your smoke has disappeared and you know there's no opera here, the next easiest smoke that I can possibly give you for actually pushing long A is going to be this one right here. What you're going to do is you're going to get relatively close, have a decent gap right here, put your cursor right here and move up and just throw it. And what it's going to do is it's going to run around this corner, bounce a whole bunch of times, pop here, so when you're actually running around this corner, you don't have to worry about anything here, and you can shoot people from the car, not have to worry about getting shot from CT. Sometimes there might be a gap here, or there might be a gap here, depending on how you throw it, but for the most part, CT is going to be covered, so you can just pull all the way across and demolish anyone who's actually on A site, and then you can worry about CT directly after that. Alright guys, if that last smoke for CT wasn't good enough for you, and you're not comfortable using this crease right here, what we're going to do is actually use these walls, and we're going to go 1, 2, and the third one right here, you're going to line this crease up with this wall, just like so, and you're going to use these windows. So you're going to go all the way up through the windows at the height of this building. So put it in between the buildings at that height, you're going to pull back and pretty much run forward and release automatically. So instantly release. And it's going to do the exact same smoke that we just did for CT. Sometimes this lands actually better, and sometimes it will leave like a small hole like this one does right here. So it just depends on how you throw it, the quality of your throw. It's going to take a lot of practice, but for the most part, it will smoke off what you need to smoke, so you can just run across here without actually having to worry about getting shot. Alright guys, now that I showed you how to take long A, I'm actually going to show you how to take cat in a safe manner. Now there's a few ways you can do this, but the easiest way that I have found to actually do this is what you're going to do is you're going to come up here. You see this wall where it has the little creases right here? You're going to come up to the last crease, look at this pole, and there's going to be this little edge right here. You're going to line up that edge while you're against the wall right here with this pole. And once it's lined up like that, you're going to go at the same height as this wire, the end of this wire, about right here. And you're going to pull back, just run forward and release. And it's going to pop off this wall, pop all the way over here, and just sit there. Now the reason this is so safe, and probably the easiest way to do this, is because now you can't be opt from mid at all. And so you're just going to run across here, and it's going to be completely... See, look at this. You can't see anything on cat. This is fantastic. It's probably the easiest and safest way for you to take cat without worrying about being opt for the entire time. Alright guys, now that you've actually gotten onto cat safely, there's going to be a few things you're going to worry about to even get onto A site. First of all, there's usually going to be someone opping from here, maybe from this back corner, maybe from right here, or even maybe through this box that you can't really see through very well. That's a lot of angles, so you're going to want to get rid of at least some of them in order to actually get onto A site. Now there's a few things you can do. First of all, if you want to smoke off just this guy right here and just worry about these entire angles over here, this is pretty simple. All you're going to do is line this bar up with the front end of the P, and aim in the middle of the P, and just chuck the grenade. Now what it's going to do is going to bounce really softly and smoke off that entire area. This is going to make it so no one can op you from this corner or from this corner, and it's going to pretty much make it so they're going to have to come out here so you can see their head, or they might even be back here, which is really dangerous since they can shoot you through this box and it's very difficult to see through. However, if you actually want to smoke off this entire area and only have to worry about this guy, this is pretty simple too. What you're going to want to do is line this bar up with the edge of this vent and just throw it at the vent. And this is going to pretty much do the same thing, but for this entire area. So it's going to smoke that area off, and now you're not going to have to worry about anything but this guy. So if this guy's right here, this guy's not going to be able to shoot, this guy's not going to be able to shoot, this guy's not going to be able to see you. The only guy that's going to be able to see you is this guy. So if you're comfortable with finishing off this opper, then, or just rushing it and jumping down here without worrying about it and then coming up around the side, then that's definitely something you can also use. Those are probably one of the two safest ways to get onto A site with smokes. Now guys, there is actually another smoke you can do from this side when it comes to coming up cat, so you can actually smoke off this entire area down here so you don't have to worry about CT. So you have people coming from long and you have people coming from CT. You can actually help the people out long. Say for instance they don't have a smoke to smoke this off, you can actually smoke off this entire area anyways from cat and do it safely. So what you're gonna do is if you run up to here and you see this black spot right here, you're going to put the left hand of your thumb on that. So just the knuckle, right there on the knuckle of your left hand. Release the smoke. It's going to pop up, pop all the way down, and it's going to smoke off all of CT. So if people are coming around here for long, all all they're gonna have to worry about is either hitting this guy, and they won't have to worry about anything down here. So you can just come up and pop this guy and then come back around. So that is one smoke. For instance, if no one at long can smoke off this area, at least you have someone that can smoke off this area. Or it's just safer for you if you're coming up from cat and you want to jump down without worrying about getting shot from behind. Alright guys, now that you can take A site from either long or cat relatively safely, I'm going to show you how to do the exact same thing but from B side for the terrace. Now what you're going to do is when you come through here, is that when you immediately come through the door, start aiming at the top of this right here and at the corner pretty much. So when you're running, just chuck it and this grenade is going to bounce off and it's going to come all the way around and smoke off this entire area. Now what this is going to do for you is when you come out, you're only going to have to worry about this guy here, which is relatively easy to take care of if you have your own opper, and it's going to smoke off this entire area back here. So you can take out car by itself, you can take out door by itself, you can take out backside, and if you did it quick enough with a flash for instance, you can actually take this guy out before he knows what's going on. So this smoke is extremely dangerous and it will block off every angle, making every single fight a 1v1. Now, not only can you smoke off this entire area right here when you come through B, but you can also smoke it off so that this guy in the back, the opper, won't be able to touch you or see you at all. So the way you're going to do that is simply by aiming right in between this top and this bottom right here and running at it. As soon as you run at it, it's going to pop off, go all the way far enough in the back so this guy back here isn't going to be able to see anything. And for you, you're actually just going to be able to come out like you would come out normally, pop off this guy, maybe there's a guy in this corner and around all these corners and cars. So that's actually another extremely useful smoke if you're more worried about this guy in the back than you are about people at car or here in the back of sight. So just remember those two smokes and you should be good to go. Alright guys, now that you know how to take B through this tunnel here, I'm actually going to show you how to take B from mid to B. This is actually one of my favorite methods to use because it's one of the safer versions because it's usually a 1v1 the entire time since there's only one person opping from mid. Now to make this safe is you're going to want to run across here, come to the corner of this box, look up at this window, and just chuck your smoke grenade off this window. What this is going to do is going to bounce around all the way across and smoke off of all of CT. This is going to make it pretty much a mid-fight, so CT's not going to have any say in what's about to happen. You can also make sure to throw a flash off the exact same window, for instance, if you want to flash mid, so that you can take care of the opper and anyone else who might be standing in the area. This will also take care of this guy, and he will be flashed as well. Now, once you actually get to mid and this is smoked off, and you take care of all the threats that are in this area, you're going to want to either smoke off either something within here, either at car or tunnels or something along these lines. And the safest way to do that, especially if you're by yourself, is this method. You're going to come up to this car, go into this corner, look up at this pole, put the very top of your cursor just in this little crevice where it bends, and simply just click and it'll release it. What this is going to do is it's going to come all the way over the top, bounce, bounce, and it's going to smoke off this entire tunnel. This is going to help you tremendously when you're trying to rush through here by yourself. And all you're going to have to do is take care of car and everyone else to the right. Now that you know how to smoke off tunnels within B, I'm actually going to show you a slightly safer method of getting into B. Now what you're going to do is you're going to come up to these two barrels right in between so you can't move anywhere. You're going to point right at this mark, doesn't really matter where. I usually point pretty much right in the middle and release. What this is going to do is going to bounce this all the way around and smoke off this entire area. So when you come in, say for instance, if you threw a flash off the exact same spot, it will flash within the smoke, everyone on site will be flashed, and you can just peek around, take in the corner, take in the car, and you'll be safe from this instance. And you can use this smoke to take corner, and then move all the way around to take everything else with on B site. Now there is another method that you can use when it comes to trying to take B site, and this is one of the harder ones. I don't actually use this one too frequently because it's kind of more difficult to use because it sometimes gets stuck. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the middle of these two boxes where it's coming together, go all the way up this pole, put the top of your top and right cursor right on this pole so it makes a diamond right in the middle of it, and just release. What this is going to do is going to go all the way over the top, the exact same, except for this time it's going to bounce and smoke off car. So this will smoke off car with the exception of this corner. This corner is almost never smoked, so this will smoke off tunnels, the guy over here in this corner, and you'll also have to deal with this guy and a couple of these guys over here. So these are a couple methods. If you have a few teammates that can smoke, you can smoke off this, you can smoke off this, and you can smoke off most of car. Now that's the main reason I don't use the car one too frequently, is because it's not as reliable as these other two that I showed you, because it doesn't always smoke off all of car, and there's always this guy who seems to get right through the smoke and be able to take you out at door. So the two I would suggest is using this one or using this one over here. Those are the two safest ones, and that's pretty much what I personally would use when it comes to smoking. Alright guys, now that I showed you some T-sided smokes, I'm also going to show you some CT-sided smokes to help you out guarding and defending the areas that the T's are going to be coming through. Now there are a few things I'm going to show you how to do. I'm going to show you how to smoke off this area right here, and I'm going to show you how to smoke off doors without showing yourself. These are probably the two easier ones, and probably the two most useful ones when it comes to guarding of long A side. So what you're going to do for the first one is you're going to have this edge right here line up in between both of these windows, and you're going to aim at the bottom of the sign, and you're just going to pull back and run forward and release. This is pretty simple. It pretty much always lands in this exact same area, and it's going to smoke off this entire side. Now the reason this might be useful is because if you're trying to come across here and go into pit, you have like a quick one or whatever, you're not going to get offed by this guy. Now this is also very detrimental to you because you can't see anything, so you come across here, you might get offed and so on and so forth. But this is just one of those things where you can smoke this off and then flash into the smoke, and they're not going to be able to see the flash at all, and it's going to instantly blind them who's ever in this area. So that's actually going to help you a lot more than you first realized. Now there's actually another one you can do when it comes to smoking is you stand in between this item and this item, the tire and this little crate here, stand right in between it, look up, and at this first cross right here, you're just going to put it right in the middle and simply just release. This is a really, really simple smoke, and it doesn't really matter if it lands here or if it lands in the middle. It's going to smoke off that entire area, which is going to make it very difficult for anyone in here to actually smoke. Now I can't tell you how many times I've come in here and this is already smoked. I'm like, how the hell did they get there so soon? It's because they're not actually there yet. They're throwing it from way back here. This is extremely useful and will generally stop one of these A-long rushes by the terrace. This is also useful for actually throwing flashes into the smoke and doing the same method you use for over here. Another very useful smoking tactic from CT spawn is just throwing a smoke off of this corner right here to avoid being opped. What this is going to do is it's going to pop right here, allowing you to run through the smoke and go all the way to B. This is going to make it so that everyone who's at here over at T trying to op isn't going to be able to see diddly. Also, this is going to allow your opper to op their opper by simply coming in front of the smoke and opping from this position. Next up is actually smoke that you can use to take out their entire area up here, so they can't shoot you from their spawn, they can't shoot you from down here in the dark, or any of these areas right here, which will help you be able to rush up mid and do anything you please. So this is a new one that I actually just recently learned that is pretty useful and takes a lot of practice, but once you get it down, it's going to help you more than you'll ever know. So what you're going to use is you're going to use this grass patch right here. You're just going to run up to it. When you come around this corner, run up to it, bring your cursor all the way up by putting it against the wall. As soon as you get to the blue, where it starts turning into blue from the like orange or tan so far, you're going to come directly over to the right, just step forward once and throw it. This is going to go all the way across, bounce, 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 and go right in the middle. This is pretty much the perfect smoke. So the people that are up here aren't going to be able to see anything, and you can easily come up mid right after you throw that and not have to worry about anyone opping you at all. So you can come into tunnels here, you can come all the way up mid and be extremely aggressive and take out people that are trying to go to long A. And this is probably one of my new favorite smokes to get rid of everyone who opts from mid. This is an extremely scary spot, and I can't tell you how many times people have actually just been instant opt or just nicked or anything. This is fantastic smoke, and I highly suggest that you learn this one. It's one that I just recently learned and I love it so far. The next smoke you can actually use from CT side is this one from right here. What this smoke is going to do is it's going to come all the way across here and smoke off this entire area, so you can come through long doors safely and not have any fear of being opt from their spawn. So what you do is you come up onto this box, come right here, and you see this bar right here. So the middle of my cursor, I offset it just slightly so that my entire right side is pointing at it, and I go about to the height of this right here. So I'll come up like this, and I'll just chuck it, and this goes all the way up, across, down, bounce, 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 and smokes off this entire area. This is extremely useful for when you're trying to rush through A and not have to worry about being sniped, because I can't tell you how many times someone's been right here trying to just snipe through long doors. So this is going to let you come through long doors, not even have to worry about this entire section, look around the corners here, look around this corner here, and be safely back through mid. This is a really useful smoke if you can do it. It takes a little practice, it'll depend on your crosshairs, but for the most part, I always hit this smoke and never have to worry about a single thing from T-spawn. Well guys, that's all I have for you when it comes to the basics of smoking Dust 2. Practice these smokes guys, because if you do, I promise it'll help you rank up a lot quicker.